Welcome to Flashback Tracks. Travel back in time each Friday to an era of big hair, leg warmers, and Walkmans.
Far out.
Veg out with some clips from Downtime Broadcasting's promotional audio cassette magazine from the 80s and 90s, right here on the World Wide Web.
Here's Distributor Dialogue, the comments and thoughts of the industry leaders, brought to you by Specialty Tracks.
Here's some advice from Sam Turkis on what to do when the customer gets angry. And Sam, president of Gowie Madison in New Jersey, speaks with the voice of experience. Sam has been president of SAGNY, as well as a member of the board of SAAI. Selling is full of problems that may result in the loss of customers, Sam Turkis reports. As experienced marketers, we do our best to head off these calamities at the start, but sometimes the situation is beyond our control. Based on my years of selling in the field, I have learned a valuable lesson that frequently eludes managers and sales representatives alike. My conduct in losing an account may be as important to my selling future as anything that I do as a sales professional. The cause of the customer's displeasure may be product failure, delivery problems, credit complications, or any number of reasons. Regardless of the problem, the result is complete customer dissatisfaction. This despite my best efforts to remedy the situation and solve the problem to the customer's satisfaction. The customer has decided not to do any more business with my company. Just as a good pool player is always planning his next shot, so too a sales representative plans his next call. If I think that I'm losing an account, my goal must be to do it in such a way that the door is left open for me and my company. This is not the time to make excuses for my factory or the people in charge of distribution. Least of all is it the occasion for me to complain about their performance, just to let the customer know that I'm really on his side. He has little patience for that kind of talk now. In fact, it's better to skip such excuses under any circumstances. There are, however, little things that can prevent him from shutting the door forever. For example, being friendly and having a sympathetic attitude is most helpful in the critical face-to-face discussion of the problem. This alone will be very beneficial in a tense situation. I must remember that the customer may have some personal or business problem that's coloring his attitude. I must strive to ascertain if there are any hidden problems besides the ones expressed by the customer. If present, these factors usually are the main problem. One reason that the customer may have kept them out of the discussion is that they relate to something he has heard through the grapevine or from my competition. Above all, the customer should be encouraged to express himself completely and unburden all his thoughts about the situation to me as the concerned, receptive listener. It is important to let the customer save face because he is the key person in any sales situation. In a sense, I should realize that much of the anger is not really directed at me personally. I just happen to be in the line of fire. Even if I'm told off in strong language, I must take it quietly. A quiet response on my part generally will bring a more moderate action from the account. Sooner or later, the customer usually will realize he went too far, and he might even apologize. Obviously, there is a limit to taking verbal abuse from a customer. Even here, though, my response should be on a high plane. I must not degrade myself or stoop to the level of the abusive customer. It's still a truism that a sales representative cannot have too many friends or too many enemies. Business is business. Things happen that cannot be helped. Most customers realize this, even though they may be slow to admit it. At the conclusion of the call, the customer may not like me, but sooner or later he will respect me, even if grudgingly. Respect is the best attitude for a customer to have toward a sales representative. Times change. Customers mellow and feel less strident about the incident, especially if the door has been left ajar. In fact, the truth is that I may find many future customers among those lost accounts, that I'm able to sell once more because the door was left open at a critical time. Regardless of whether they turn out to be large accounts or small, one thing is certain: they'll be among the most satisfying.
Travel back in time with us next Friday as we share more clips from the 80s and 90s on another rad episode of Flashback Tracks, exclusively on Promo Corner. Time to bounce.